Yeah, so 3 packs of 10. I've got family staying with me after the hurricane. They're okay, but their house is a little biffed up. So I'm filming outside, and it's hot as balls. So let's get this done.
I just said, yes, man, right away, anything.
Ginger beer. I love soda, and I love fermenting things, and I love learning how to do things the old-fashioned way. So we're gonna bring all that together and make some fermented soda. The basic process for any fermented soda is pretty simple. You mix sugar, water, yeast, something really flavorful, all that together, and you end up getting soda. The biggest problem most people run into when they're making fermented soda is gushers. Basically, you open the bottle not knowing what the carbonation level is going to be, and it just gushes. There's plenty of videos online of people opening kombucha and ending up with sticky stains on the ceiling because it shoots out of the bottle because there's way too much carbonation. And that's due to the fact that it's tricky to get that sweetness and carbonation level just right, and it's a really fine line. If you open it a little too early, you get something that's flat, doesn't have enough carbonation to it, and it's probably going to be too sweet. If you open it just a tiny bit too late, then kaboom. So I did some research to come up with my twist on ginger beer. While we're at it, we're going to throw in a safer pasteurization process to make sure that you don't shatter your bottles like I've had happen before, and I know some of you have too. So that'll be good. And keep in mind, you don't have to pasteurize if you don't want to. You can just stick them in the fridge. But if you're like me and you don't have enough fridge space, pasteurization is definitely the way to go to make sure that you don't have runaway carbonation happening in those bottles and turn them into glass grenades. So let's get going. For this recipe, you need to weigh out about 400 grams of ginger, or 14 ounces, and about 700 grams of sugar, or 3.5 cups. Then grind up the ginger in a blender. Dump that sludgy goop into a pot with your sugar, spices, and 1.5 quarts of water, juice from 2 lemons, and 1 cut up orange with the peel still on it. Bring that to a low simmer for 15 minutes, then turn off the heat and let it cool to room temperature. Strain the liquid through a wire mesh strainer, then strain it again through some cheesecloth or a dish towel to get out the fine particles of ginger and spices. Once you have the clear liquid, top that up with water until you have 1 gallon total. Then add your remaining lemon juice and your yeast. Give it a whisk for 1 minute to mix the yeast in thoroughly. Now bottle it, making sure one of them is a plastic soda bottle to act as a carbonation indicator. Once that's done, set the bottles on the counter to carbonate naturally at room temperature. Check on the plastic test bottle every 12 hours until it's nice and firm. So I want to stress again that you really do need to check that test bottle until it's nice and firm. It carbonates way faster than beer or cider because all the yeast that we're putting in is brand new and fresh, and we're putting in a lot more of it than the residual yeast you're used to siphoning over from your fermented batch. So it goes way quicker. I've had these finish as fast as 18 hours, and I've also had them take as long as 48 hours. So it really depends on the amount of yeast and how healthy it is, and also your ambient temperature. All those things combined can really make the timing on this fluctuate. So this little guy is critical. So the new protocol for pasteurization is based on what the commercial beer industry does. So it's a lot more accurate as far as the time and the temperature, and it's not quite as overkill as the other version that I used to do that was way too hot. And it'll also work for your hard cider. So if you want to pasteurize hard cider, definitely use this safer, lower temperature method. It'll make your life a lot easier. I've tried it 3 times now, no breakage, and I'm very happy with it. The time and temperature I'm recommending is still a bit of overkill, but I'd rather be certain the yeast is dead and not have to worry about cleaning up broken bottles because a few yeast cells survived. All you have to do is fill your sink with the hottest water you can get from your tap. Then let the bottle sit in that for 20 minutes. Then drain the sink and refill it to let the bottles continue to preheat for another 20 minutes. While you wait, heat up a pot of water to 158 degrees Fahrenheit for the final stage. After that 40 minutes in the sink, the bottles should be thoroughly preheated. Put the warm bottles in the pot of 158-degree water for 10 minutes, making sure the heat is turned off. The temperature of the water will lower as the bottles suck up the heat and equalize with the temperature of the water in the pot. You can check on the temperature after you're done to make sure it didn't dip below 150. If it did, give the bottles another 5 minutes to sit before removing them. You don't need to reheat the water, just let them sit a few minutes longer. Now take the bottles out and let them cool to room temperature on the counter, then store them anywhere you like. So here is our ginger beer, and it came out pretty clear. All right, let's try it out. Did we screw it up? Yay! Pretty. It's nice and gingery, and you can even smell that citrus in there from the lemons. And there's that cardamom. I don't smell the pepper, but I do smell a little tiny little hint of the nutmeg. That is good. I think I got the sweetness just right, and I'm getting the spiciness of the ginger just a little bit on the back. It's not crazy spicy, and the flavor from the spices is in there too. Pretty impressed with myself. It's pretty damn tasty soda. Not for homemade soda, for soda. Now, we move on to sarsaparilla. So that's it for the ginger beer. If you have any suggestions about other interesting fermented sodas for me to try, leave them in the comments section down below. I want to say a huge thank you to all of my Patreon supporters. I am truly grateful to you guys for all of your support. I couldn't be on track for making the weekly videos and the kind of content that I've always wanted to make if it wasn't for your help. So, thank you guys. If you'd also like to help support my channel, consider joining my Patreon right down below. If you do, you'll get behind the scenes access for what goes on around here, what goes on in my weird head. Also, you get to vote on the kind of shenanigans I end up putting on my channel. Also down in the video description is the full recipe for this project, so check it out. So if you enjoyed this video, if you learned anything, if your mind has been expanded and science has reigned in, then do me a favor and hit the like button. It really helps out the channel, and it tells YouTube that you value this kind of content. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button down below and ring the little bell right next to it so you can get notified when I post new content, and that way you'll know what kind of weird crap I'm coming up with next. All right, thanks for watching. Talk at you later.
It's not a game, it's a rich thing.